Hey everybody, welcome back. I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but I haven't done a whole lot with the 24 scale trucks lately. It's been more 10 scale, and we just had the Iowa RC Outlaws Sand Drag event sponsored by 4-Wheel Drive in Iowa, and we had everything from large scale down to SCX24s for the sand drag races, and we raced across a sandy volleyball court at a campground. It was a really good time. We had a lot of fun. I thought that my Deadbolt was going to easily take the 124 class, but it didn't. This truck you see to my left, it's silver, is my friend Johnny's. He's one of my new RC friends more recently, and this is his SCX24 with a Samex motor in it, and this thing had just a half a kilometer or more. It wasn't much more, but it was enough more that I ended up getting second to this truck, and I brought it home with me to figure out why it was getting so hot. So I've done a little work to it and added some heat sinks, got rid of some of the rubbing points. This one had the typical rubbing points where the upper control link was rubbing on the end yoke here. So I fixed that. The wheels were a little bit over tightened, and we're getting into the bearings. He's got spacers on this, so it spaces it out. Well, what that motivated me to do was to do the homework that I should have done before the races and not just assume I had it. And I've gone ahead and I've decided that I'm going to start building next year's rig for the sand drags. This is something I wanted to do for a long time. A lot of you remember the Enduro24 that I have, that I put SCX24 axles on it and turned it into a really good crawler. And if you remember right, it nearly cut the speed in half but doubled the torque. Well, with the FMS24 coming out and seeing the high speeds coming out of that, I thought, okay, why don't I take the Enduro24 axles that I've just had sitting and throw them on a SCX24. Maybe it'll double the speed. So I've done that, and just to show you the progress so far, sadly I have misplaced the front axle, which is kind of bad because I really need that to finish this thing. And just be different, I put a Betty bumper on the front of this Deadbolt because I think it looks cool. And if I needed to, I can add weight in there to keep the nose down. I don't know that it's going to need that, but you never know. I want to be ready for it. So what I've done here is I have taken 1/10 scale screws, and for some reason my camera's not focusing well, but I don't know if you can see that very well, but I've used 1/10 wheel screws from a beadlock and deadbolt links from this deadbolt, and I took the ball joints out of the back and just screwed those in so they would stay in place. They're not tight. I still get plenty of actuation. It moves freely. One of the things that was difficult for me to try to figure out was how to hook the shocks up, and I decided not to. And what I've done is I made a plastic leaf spring, and I don't know why this isn't focusing. I apologize for that. But this plastic leaf spring just is goes from frame rail to frame rail, and this was an early mod to the Enduro24. I added some weight by super gluing a penny to the pumpkin, and it worked. It's kind of ugly, but I really can't get it off of there. But anyway, this now is my leaf spring rear suspension, and I still get spring action. I still get articulation out of it, which I thought was pretty good. Now, one thing you don't want a lot of in a dragster is when you hit the gas, you don't want it torque twisting. So what I will do is I'll take a string and make a limiting strap, And I might just do it with a piece of plastic too. But I'll use a string. That'll be just easy. And I'll tie it to this point here and run it up to the screw up here. And that will limit the amount of pivot this body has on that rear axle, because I want it to stay flat, but I do still want it to have some you know, give on the spring when it comes time. But I think if I just put a limiting strap on that so it doesn't just pivot this whole body to the right, it should hold pretty good, and with any luck it'll launch straight. I really hate, I just cannot figure out what I did with the front axle of this truck, and I don't think it really matters. Worst case scenario, I put an SCX24 front axle on it and just make it rear wheel drive only. So I could do that, but I know this axle right now is about 15 feet from me at the moment. I just don't know where I put it. So that's the update on this. I've got a system ready to go in. I had rigged up a really nice steering link that you can use the SCX24 gear, and it's a steering servo on axle set up for the Enduro24. So I'd show that to you if I knew where it was, but I don't. Anyway, I got this from our friend Nick at MoFo RC. This is a Buzzsaw. It has a 20-tooth pinion, and this thing is going to have a very high gear. I'm hoping this thing will do between 15 and 20 miles an hour by the time I'm done with it. So that's the update for now. And with this upside down, you can see the action there. And I'm pretty happy with how it's coming together so far. Got this center skid plate from my friend Thomas, and it's coming together. I have a year to finish it, but I hope to have it finished sooner than that. So that's the update. Also, this is the scene, what you see in the background. One of the things that we're doing in Iowa right now is they're having a competition, or not really a competition, just a sort of a agreed upon thing to create scale garages. So this is a way to make a scale garage that was easy. That's essentially it. This is the Enduro24 box, flipped around, cut up, and hot glued back together in a different way. And it's not done yet, but this is my weak attempt at having a horse in the race when it comes time for the next RC camp out. So it's kind of cool. Why not? So it's not going to be in every video, but when I'm showing you something, I'll probably have it in the back. But this has the Enduro24 axle on it. I'm sorry, drive shaft and axle. I have a that center yoke in there that holds these two pieces together. That's from a SCX24, because the Enduro24 center yoke there between those at that pivot ball, they're just too weak. Though the little things on it come apart, and you'll blow the drive shaft apart right here with the 2S battery. So that's it for now. When I race this next spring, or actually it'll be about this time next year when we have the sand drags again, I may have mudslinger tires on it, just because it'll give it a little bit higher final drive ratio, because a bigger tire will travel farther per revolution than a smaller tire. It's a longer way around. And that's the update for tonight. I hope you all have had a great summer, and we'll talk to you later on once I either find the Enduro24 front axle, which is ideal because I would like this to be 4-wheel drive, or throw an SCX24 axle on it with no drive shaft, and it'll be super easy. So either way, it's win-win. That's all for tonight. Everybody have a good week. We'll talk to you later.